way of Tanzania. It's Paula. How you doing today, Paula?
I am so good. Thank you for finally. It only took 300 and something episodes to be here, so I'm happy to be here.
Yes, yes. It took forever, I know, but hey, we here. So why don't you tell the people about your podcast?
All right, so Talk Shit with P. It's a podcast for creative about creative journeys and mental health struggles. I started my podcast in 2020 because of my depression, and I wanted to create a safe space for people to have those conversations. After 2 years, we rebranded. Shout out to Travis Brown who got me into rebranding. And I was like, you know what? I kind of fucking love this podcasting space and doing this shit. So I wanted to niche down because mental health is really broad. Like, there's so much. And I wanted to concentrate on something that I was doing, which was I was walking into my own creative journey with my podcast and branding and all that. So I wanted to talk to people in that space for them to share their journey, hopefully to inspire somebody out there, but also the mental struggles they're battling with while in that creative journey and what's working for them and what's not working for them.
Yes, I definitely agree. It's like many people they see us recording right now and they'll see us talking and like nothing's going on, but they don't know the half of it. They don't know the mental struggles. They don't know what the hell we go through on a regular basis. So I applaud you for that for talking about that because that's important. Because if people knew half the shit I went through just to give y'all liquor talk, man, people would be falling out. But hey, we are still here. We're still pushing. So what was your inspiration for starting Talk Shit with P?
I was depressed as fuck during COVID because of a lot of things. The Black Lives Matter, and then back in my country, my president wasn't doing anything, and I have my dad there who also had health issues, so I was worried about him. Then everything that was happening with the Asian community, most people either know or don't know, but I lived in Malaysia for 5 years. I have friends who I consider family who are Asian, right? So, and I was also going through a breakup, so it was a very fucked up breakup. Like I didn't deal with the breakup because I was busy and avoiding dealing with it. And then when the world shut down, you're not busy. You have to deal with everything that was being pushed back. So I ended up writing an email to him and then I went on Twitter. This was when Twitter was still Twitter. I went on Twitter and started talking shit about the email I wrote to my ex. And somebody was like, you know, you should start a podcast. You got so much shit to talk about. I was like, what would we call it? And they're like, talk shit with me. I was like, okay. But then once I started thinking about the podcast, I wanted to understand, like, okay, I'm going to start a podcast and I'm going to talk shit, but what's my purpose with it? Like, what's my why? And that's when it was like, you know what? This whole thing came because of my depression and my with my breakup, the world and everything. So why not create a safe space and have those conversations? So season 1 to 3, I believe it was literally just mostly focused on mental health. I had my dad come in there speak about being a girl dad. I had my brother who's 14 years clean talk about his recovery. My sister talk about postpartum depression. My mom talking about being raising a daughter who is not the daughter she probably wanted because I'm not a girly girl and I didn't go in any route an African daughter should go. And then I have my bonus mom talking about being a bonus mom and getting in a relationship with a man who has teenage kids because it's kind of easier when kids are a little bit younger. But when they're teenagers, right? And I wasn't an
Mm-hmm.
easy teenager. My brother was not an easy teenager. So it was people. I have a friend in there who recover beat breast cancer. So it was really mostly focused on the mental aspect of it, and then we rebranded and kind of changed. But it was really me being depressed in a breakup that motivated me to get in here. And surprisingly, that ex of mine until today still supports. he was at Afros, and I was just it's funny when I share that story and the nigga is still around.
Shout out to the exes that still support, even though they done broke up. Cheers to that, because
You're appreciated.
I ain't never heard no shit like that. Because most of my exes, it's like to hell with you, and we done. Like, shout out to my exes that listen to Liquor Talk. I know they out there, but I don't give a
So
shit.
so he doesn't listen to the podcast, but he supports in literally is like my sponsor. Like he supports in any conferences I go. Last year at Afros was the first time he actually even had me speak because he stayed for the speaking. This time he literally did like a U-turn and he drove all the way from Canada. So I do want to say a big shout out to him for being an incredible supporter.
That's amazing. Like I can't even. He a better man than me because I can't even think of an ex I would do that for. I just
Listen,
because
I even thanked him. I was like, I am glad you haven't removed me from your Netflix and Spotify because I still use his Netflix, I still use his Spotify, and right now I'm waiting for him to send me. I'm waiting for him to send me his information for Amazon Prime because my 30-day trial about to end. So it's
Paula, you is a savage.
y'all need to be like my ex, okay? Y'all be I need that kind of support from all of y'all. All of y'all do better. I literally even wrote one time on Facebook on a status. I was like, I need you to be like my ex. He really hates me so much. He really did hate me. I was even shocked he came to Baltimore, to be honest. We had a big ass fight in August and we didn't speak until when he came to Baltimore. That's when we spoke, like that the day before he decided to drive. But I even wrote a caption status and I was like, I need you to be like my ex. This nigga hates my guts right now, but he still has me on, hasn't taken me off Netflix and Spotify. So
Yeah, that's an amazing ex because most of my exes they changed the password on me, so I'm not even that blessed. And
the love is real. I feel like because he really is my best friend, the love is real. We are just very toxic people to each other. I don't think we are good to date. I think we are better friends.
yeah,
I don't know.
I, and that I understand. And ladies and gentlemen, that's very possible that where you could have ladies that y'all just better as friends than as lovers. Like shout out to all the women I know that are just friends, and it is what it is. I don't even get mad about it no more. You can't get mad about it.
Nope. But it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how now this conversation is about exes.
Hey, you know what? That's the beautiful thing of my podcast. We go with the flow over here. That is what we go with the flow. It ain't scripted. We go with the flow. If
Because
if a good conversation is going, we gonna roll with it. So hey, we're
and
gonna
that's what
start off
happens when you're
talking about
talking
exes.
and that's what happens when you're talking shit with P.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to P. I see you got the Budweiser over there. I see. You took one of the questions out my yes, because I literally was gonna ask you what was your favorite kind of liquor, but I see you got it already. I see ain't shit changed with you.
It's funny because I was at FinCon, right? And I was working at the Podfest booth, and then this guy comes and is like, Paula, where's your beer? Where the beer at? And then Chris, the owner of Podfest, is like, no Budweiser for Paula, not right now, but in a few hours. And as soon as we closed the booth, like the time was out, we went to dinner, and the waiter comes and he's looking at me like, "What do you want to drink?" Everybody on the table shouted Budweiser, and I was like, it, it's incredible how people know I always am drinking beer and it's Budweiser, like unless there's no Budweiser, but beer is always like the amount of time everybody was asking me this time at the conference, like, where's your beer? Where's your beer? And because I was at a financial conference, I tried not to be drinking during the day, like late in the evening. But when I'm at Podfest or Afros, I'm constantly in my beer. Like I had when I was showering while I was getting ready to come to my presentation, I was in the shower with my Budweiser. And there's something about drinking a beer in the shower, y'all. Like it's the best therapy ever.
you know, I'm kind of kicking myself because I had some Jack on like Sunday morning of the Afros the Audios conference. Me and my buddy, we had some shots of Jack in the morning, and I was feeling good. I'm like, what the fuck didn't I do this before I got up on that stage? I'm like, God damn, I would have been
What?
even more good.
Why do you think I always have energy at these conferences? My border, and people always like when they see me with the border or a coffee, they're like, Paula, what's in there? I'm like, mind your business. Don't worry about what's in the car. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then worry about what's in the car. But I still got on the stage. I still killed the shit. Like, it's all good.
Yes, yes. Speaking of Afro sounds, you definitely killed your shit. You were like the Energizer Bunny. Yes. Shout out to Afros and Audios. Uh, listen, I had fun. Doing my part, and this time it felt better because I had my people in my corner with me. I had people that travel with me. They literally came up from Baltimore. My best friend brought his old lady, and they came from
You see,
Baltimore.
you don't need exes. You got people pulling up.
Yes, you don't. You damn right. And also, my homeboy, he even split the cost of the room with me, in Baltimore as well. So, and but man, listen, I will say this: the only thing about Baltimore is what shit to do at night. Only good bars will buy the damn hotel.
Bruh, bruh. Apart from the fact that it's legal to smoke outside. So I enjoy the fact that we were smoking while walking the streets outside. But the nightlife is really fucked up over there. Like I
Yes,
think
it
I
is.
think Afros and Audios is the only conference I go where I literally made it to bed before midnight.
Damn, you know what? You're right. I can't even disagree with that because the first night we found like two good bars by the hotel. Then the second night we found a hookah. One hookah lounge was in the hood. It's like we were fucked up when the hookah lounge is by an abandoned church, and you got to ring the doorbell to get in. And we
The
get in, there's
fuck?
nobody in there. I
Well,
can't make this up.
it is funny you say that because I saw on the first night after the event, right? Because I came in late. I missed my flight, so I had to catch another flight, and I got in a little bit late. So they were looking for food. We were outside, and people were looking for food. Next thing, I'm just following the crowd, right? I'm just like wherever everybody's going, I'm going. So it was me, Walter, and Ralph, and some other people, and we were walking. We ended up at this. It's supposedly to be a restaurant, but it looked like a bar, like a very. And I hate bars which are very dark inside. Like I like to see people these days. When I was a kid, yes, I wanted to be in the dark. Right now, I'm too grown to be sitting in the dark and trying to figure out who's who. But then
Right.
they take us downstairs, and downstairs is like when you're kids and one of your friends' grandmother has a basement and you turn the basement into a club with like lights and it's so dark and you're playing music. That's how the basement felt. Like I was like, I looked at Walter. I was like, listen, y'all, I can't do this. The music was too loud and annoying, and it looked like I was in a grandma's basement with some disco lights and shit. I was like, I'm leaving. So we walked back to the Walter was like, okay, I'm also leaving. We go back to the hotel and we found Dominic and Lisa and all of them sitting at the lobby watching a game. There was a game, I believe. I think New York was playing. Um, I was like, okay, at least the hotel has the at the lobby they're saying beer. So I started
Mhm.
drinking beer and just chilling. And then next thing I was like, you know what? I actually texted my ex who was still in Canada trying to finish work so he can come because the Uber was so expensive to where I was staying. It was like $50. I was like, can you call me a Uber? So he called me a Uber and I went back home.
Mm.
I couldn't. But it's fun. But when I'm at other conferences like Podcast Movement or Podcast, I'm literally out until 2, 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah, I think they do those conferences in nicer cities. So, shout out to my people from Afros and Audios. If y'all gonna do something, I need y'all to do it in DC. Cause my best friend, he had the rental car. I should have told his ass, hey, let's ride down to DC because that's what everybody was telling me, bro. You should have just went to DC because
And it's not that
DC was nothing but
far.
30 minutes away.
Yeah, it wasn't because last year we didn't leave until Monday because on Sunday after the conference we drove to DC. Because I had to go to the embassy and get my new passport, and I was like, since I'm already down here, let me just fucking do it. I was prolonging doing that shit for almost 2 years, so I was like, okay, I'm already down here, let me just go do it. But it's not
Yeah.
that far because Maryland is literally like state lines, like depending on where you are and where they are, it's literally 30 minutes to DC where they were doing like so. You should have.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we know for next year in case they decide to do Afro's audio in
Especially since you
Baltimore.
had a rental. The fuck?
I didn't know that. Listen, I didn't know we didn't communicate those things, but listen, we know for next year. We know for next year. I
I
might have to
mean,
get
but
on
at
his
least
ass
you got
next.
to try Baltimore because you assume that you'll find something to do. So that's why you don't kind of plan to go to Baltimore because you just assume you'll find some shit to do, right?
Yeah, I know one thing. If I go back to Baltimore, if we do go back to Baltimore, we'll just go to the bars because I found like two really good bars by the hotel. But other than
Yeah, there
that,
was
we
one,
just
the one that had the neon lights that said, find your balls or hold your balls or grab your balls, something, which was kind of like a game. There was, which hotel were you guys staying at?
we were at the True by Hilton.
Yeah, literally the next door one, just they were, I think they were even sharing a wall because after Sunday that's where everybody left and everybody was in there, like some people were hanging out in there. But
Mm.
yeah, that was a cool bar. It had like games, it had some good food, and but I don't know how late it closed because we went in the afternoon. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we went to that bar. I hung out with the crew from Detroit. They were like, "Hey, we're going to this
Yeah, the
bar," and I
pop,
was like,
yeah, because it was a birthday. One of the guys, it was a birthday. The podcastic, is it podcastic?
"Yeah, podcast. I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah." But shout out to podcasting as well because I hung out with them Friday night at that same bar. And we all chilled and stuff. So,
Yeah,
but
Q is
ladies and
dope. That entire team is dope.
yes, yeah, I told that team I might have to come up to Detroit when it's not cold. That is because I'm a Florida man and I like the warm weather. So I'm not trying to go when it's cold as hell. I
Wait,
got love for y'all.
you located in Florida?
Yeah, I'm located in Florida,
Damn, where in Florida?
Tampa.
How the fuck did I not know this?
Yeah, the same way I didn't know you were located in Atlanta.
No, because anytime I hear somebody's in Florida, I try to make sure they come to Port first because you're already in Florida. You don't need to really travel much. So I'm like, how the fuck did I not know this?
See, I'm not gonna lie to you. Podfest is be expensive as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So I'm gonna try to work something out and make some shit happen to be at
You
Podfest because
you need to
I'm
talk to the
supposed to.
right people. You literally have the connections. You're not using them.
Well, we're gonna have to connect on that shit. Podfest 2025, y'all gonna see me because also I need to be at more podcasts and conferences because Afros and Audios was lit, and I need to be at more because what usually happens is half my guests come on from Afros
Company.
Audios like this year. So
Wait, have you ever been to podcast movement?
I was going to go, but some shit came up, so I didn't go.
Next year they're doing it in Dallas in August. Literally, right now they have a code, um, which expires on October 31st, which you can get a creator pass for $9.
Mm.
So even if
Hey,
you're not sure if you wanna go, buying a ticket for $9 is really not, it's nine
hey,
bucks.
send me the link though. Hey, just send me the link and I'll go ahead and get it done. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. Paula, you know this is Halloween week, and you know everybody's coming out with their costumes, and everybody's about to get ready to give some candy. So, what is your craziest Halloween story?
I don't think I do have. I find it very weird. I don't think I've actually ever. Oh, I do have one. Okay. So I think this was the probably the only time I really, really celebrated Halloween. And when I 2, 3 years ago, no, not 2, 3 years ago. I think this was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And I had just moved. So I used to live in this apartment complex, and I moved from one apartment to another in the same complex because they were newly renovated apartments, and I was trying to get out, but I couldn't find any other one. And they're like, "Let's show you our newly renovated." So I moved from one side to another, and I ended up with these two neighbors. One of them, shout out to Maury, she's still my best friend until today. Every time I come to, she moved back to Florida, so every time I come to Portfest, I make sure I have one day to spend with her. But so we ended up being neighbors that we shared uh the balcony on the back. She had a girlfriend with her. The girlfriend drank but didn't smoke. Molly smoked but didn't drink. So I had like two of best worlds, right? And they had three dogs, which I like dogs, but I cannot afford one because dogs are even more expensive than kids. I'm sorry. So I date people with dogs just so I can have a dog without the responsibility of having a dog. Or I still I hang out with people who have dogs. So we decided we were gonna do what? Dress up, sit outside. We decorated together and everything. Sit outside and wait for the kids to come trick or treating and give out candies while we are smoking our blunts and shit. But what we didn't know was the apartment complex wasn't doing trick or treating on the day of Halloween. They did it the night before, but none of us were there. So literally, we just sat outside with balls of candy and nobody showed up. Nobody. Nobody at all.
Damn. Damn,
And
that's
we were left with
crazy.
all that candy. And we didn't even buy the good candy because fuck the kids and the candy. But so now you're left.
Damn, she said, "Fuck them kids. Y'all get this cheap candy." Hell
And,
no.
but then it's like the kids said, "Fuck y'all," because now we ended up with this candy that we didn't even fucking like. So yeah, it was a big
Damn.
L. It was a big L.
Man, listen, man. I think the last time I celebrated Halloween, I was in college. I had just got off from work. My homeboys were like, "Hey, let's have this party," and they were like, I told them straight, I didn't have a costume." They're like, "You good? You good?" The little chick at the door, she was like, "You gonna have to strip naked. You gonna have to strip naked." I get
Did
to the
you?
door, they're like, "No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen." They were like, "We just fucking with you, but here's a mask though, and drinks on us. We just fucking with you." I'm like, "Oh hell, you motherfuckers!" And I didn't, and I didn't know that so many adults celebrate Halloween. Even go dress up in the Halloween parties and stuff. I didn't know that.
People do effort. Like I'm literally seeing right now on Facebook timelines because you would think, right? It's funny how this weekend I've seen more Halloween and I'm like, is Halloween this weekend? But isn't Halloween next weekend? Like the end of the when is fucking Halloween even?
Halloween is on Thursday.
Yeah, but why are people going so hard this weekend, bro? I'm like, I'm looking
Maybe
even.
I would say maybe because people have to work on Thursday. People still have jobs and they probably just want to hang out and go hard for Halloween this
Excuses, yeah.
weekend.
Yesterday, I actually have a video. I'll post it and I'll tag you. Uh, we were walking, so the FinCon conference was happening in downtown Atlanta. If you're from Atlanta or you've been to Atlanta, you know people don't even fucking go to downtown. Like it's literally stinks. Um,
Damn.
it stinks. Like the only time I go to downtown is when friends or family come because everything is downtown. CNN, aquarium. Well, CNN is no longer here, but the music, everything is literally downtown. Hawks game, Mercedes Stadium, like they are all literally downtown. So we were walking to the corner liquor store because I didn't want to go in there by myself. And there's a lot of homeless people in downtown. So all the niggerish nigger, like it's like, those people chilling at the corner store and shit. I was like, I don't want to walk around. So, and imagine I'm a black ass chick, short and tiny, and then I'm rolling with these two white dudes who are like tall and shit, and it's like so weird. But I think they saw that there's a conference happening because there were so many people. So we are going to the liquor store to get Budweiser because the hotel is selling beer for $8 or $10. Fuck y'all, I can get
Oh,
three
that
beers and then,
hotel stay taxing, man. Just like the damn airport. So you know a bottle of
bruh.
water is like $5 at the goddamn airport.
That's why
But
you drink
continue.
beer. Why would I buy water for $5 when I can get a fucking beer for $6? Like fuck that shit. Like I don't get it. So we are walking, and literally this guy is wearing. He was in his Halloween costume, and even came to that. We were wondering if is he part of the conference or not. Then we saw him at the after party at the rap party the rap party for the conference. He came. He was wearing, the top of his head was like the when you're crossing the road and there's that walking, that when you press the button for stop, walk, whatever.
Yeah.
He's wearing that. Then over here he has press the button, and when you press the button, it literally says you can walk now. I don't know, 3 minutes left, and it does a countdown. I was like, the fuck? And it's a grown-ass man. I was like, did you build this? Did you buy it? How did you even research this? Like the thought people put in this shit is amazing. You would think Halloween is supposed to be for kids, but grown-ups really go all the way out. I'm like, y'all are better than me. I be switching off my lights and pretending I'm not home, because fuck it.
Man, that's what my mom did growing up. That's what everybody I know did growing up. Nowadays, motherfuckers today, but they don't give a shit. And I've seen some people in neighborhoods, they be having um candy, a big ass bowl of candy, and some jello shots for the adults and stuff. I'm like, you
Those are
motherfuckers
the
is going
streets.
hard.
Those are the streets I want to go, because I've been hearing about people giving out jail shirts. So some people are giving out those mini whiskeys for the parents who work with kids. I steal somebody's kid and walk with them on the street to get those liquor bottles. Like
I was literally thinking the same thing because I'm
for
like, I
that,
got
I
plenty of
will
friends
fucking
with
dress
kids.
up. I ain't dressing up for no candy, but for liquor bottles and shit, I'll dress up for that. Let's make it happen.
Hey, give me some liquor, goddamn! I got these little motherfuckers. Give these little motherfuckers some candy. Give me some liquor, goddamn it.
And I Exactly. And I think the reason I stopped celebrating Halloween is the one time I got excited to celebrate Halloween, I ended up getting in trouble because I ended up making out with somebody who was dressed like my boyfriend, but he really wasn't my boyfriend. And I got in trouble. I'm like, I'm sorry, who told you to dress with the same costume? And it became a big fight for a while because nigga felt some type of shit, and it turned out to be the guy who ended up making our way turned up to be a guy who was trying to get with me, but I didn't know. I didn't know. I did not know. I stand by that. I am gonna stand by that. And I was like, fuck this costume parties and shit.
Damn, were you drunk?
I wasn't drunk, but I was high. At that time, I used to take ecstasy.
Ooh.
So I was
Eh,
really,
eh,
back in the days, I was really a raver girl. Like I used to love going to raves and taking ecstasy and house music and shit. Like I mean, not really house music, techno. Like Avicii was my shit and all that. So I was always like, I feel like maybe those ecstasies are still kind of in my body. Maybe that's why I still have this energy these days. At certain point, I don't know, but I haven't taken ecstasy in like forever. I think since I left Malaysia, I don't think I've ever had ecstasy since I left Malaysia. Did
but you
ever?
took ecstasy and you lived to tell about it. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, ecstasy was my drug before I started smoking weed.
Wow, you are just full of stories. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. All right. Now, the last time we talked, which was Instagram Live like 2 years ago, and you told a very interesting story about love. And I'm like, I can't ever talk shit about the things I've done for love and I've been screwed over because you got me beat by miles. Like, you left.
Are we talking about me getting flown out? Is that the story, or what story are we talking about? Cause
I think it's the story you told me how you first left your home country for love.
oh shit! Actually,
Remember that one?
it wasn't my home country, but I left UK to go to Malaysia. And it's funny because this came up. It's funny how you bring that up because it recently came up. Um, I don't know how the conversation was happening, and then that came up. But continue with where you were going with this before
Yeah,
I.
because I think it was a live segment. We were just talking about the things we've done for love and came up with nothing, and we just got nothing to show for it. And you chimed in with something that imagine leaving a country for love. Then we brought you up, and well, you told the story. So for those of you who wasn't listening to that story, please, Paula, tell us how the hell you left another country for love.
And it's funny, believe it or not, he wasn't even my boyfriend, that guy, right? He was my childhood friend, very good best friend, who, and we were kids, so we hadn't had sex, but we have done a few stuff. And our our timeline was never on the same point, right? Because I was never, whenever I was in boarding school, and when I was single he was dating somebody, when he was single I was dating somebody, so there was never that, so eventually he became single, but nigga decided to go study in Malaysia. So at that time I had taken a 1 year gap because I didn't like law school as much as I thought I would, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to study next. And so I took a gap year. And then when I saw he went to Malaysia, so when I took a gap year, my dad told me, as long as by this date, this is your deadline, I need you to come back and tell me what you want to study, where you want to study. I need you to have a game plan, but by this date. That was the condition for me, for him allowing me to have the gap year. So I was like, cool. So when I said I was going to Malaysia and he was single, I was like, this is our time. So I didn't want to tell my dad Malaysia because I knew he would say no. So I talked to him and I was like, what if I come to Malaysia? Can we give it a try? I was like, yeah, come, because we were talking almost every fucking day. I was spending too much money on calling cards. Back in the days, I was calling from Malaysia to another country. You needed a calling card and shit. I was in UK
Mm.
at that time. So I reached out to my dad and I was like, I'm ready to go back to school. I know where I want to go and I know what I want to study. And my dad jumped on a call with me and I was like, I want to go to Australia because I knew he would say no. Australia is too damn far and we don't know anybody there. So,
Damn, Australia? Wow.
bro. So I have, and my dad knew this, and a lot of people hated it. Growing up, I used to be a very good liar. These days, I don't lie. I'm a person who really tells you what it is, but I was a very good liar, and I used to like to argue. That's why most people thought I'd be a very good lawyer. But also, I read people and I know how to play people. And not like play them like, but I know how to get what I want from somebody without them thinking, without them knowing that I kind of play them to get it. They just end up thinking that it was their idea, but I kind of did. Now I'm giving out all my secrets. But anyways, um, so I knew playing my dad like that will work in my favor for me to go to Malaysia. So I was like, fuck no, I'm not sending you to Australia. I was like, well, Malaysia is cheaper. This university has the same cost like this university, and it's way cheaper. It's not that far. I was like, you know what? At that time, my uncle had just been appointed as the ambassador in Malaysia. I was like, since Cisco is there, we can do Malaysia. So from that, literally in a month, I left UK. My dad was like, okay, pack your shit. You're leaving UK. In a month, we packed up and shit. I'm a shoeholic. So I even was like, do you want me to come and help you pack your shoes? I was like, fuck no, it's good. I got this. We packed. I was home. I went back home to Tanzania. I hadn't been in Tanzania for 5 years. I arrived on Saturday. Next Saturday, me and my dad got on a flight. We went to Malaysia. He took me to the school, paid for our whole 1 year, got me settled. And as soon as he left, because I went to a school in the city and this boy was staying in a school 45 minutes away. As soon as my dad got on the plane, I was on the train going to that nigga. We finally had sex. We tried it, but it really didn't. We literally broke up. Like, we didn't even end up dating. We tried, but in 1 month it didn't work out, and we, but
Damn.
yeah.
Broke up after a month? After you did all that, you guys broke up after a month?
But here's the thing, and he's still my very good friend. He still gets shocked that his birthday is on the 3rd of June. He gets shocked that I'm still the first person who messages him on his birthday, literally at midnight every 3rd of June. He's married now with 2 kids, and he married his high school sweetheart. Like at that time, they were off, they were going through their thing, and then when we didn't work, he ended up connecting with him. But what I will say is, I don't regret it because I ended up getting so much experience in Malaysia. So I'm glad I chose Malaysia. Like, it might have been that I went for him, but maybe it was also what I needed for me. But also, at least I can say we tried compared to just living around knowing like we never even tried. Like, what could have been? I hate living in regrets. Like, I'm a person who, I even have one of my merch. Actually, where the fuck is that? I realized I haven't seen that mug in a while. Maybe somebody stole it. But I have a mug, and I have part of my merchandise where it's a mason cup, and it has those illustrate drawing. Shout out to my illustrator Gaila, amazing illustrator. He also created my logo. So on my 32nd birthday, created illustrate video of me jumping off the plane, and the plane had 31, and then I was jumping off to 32, and then when the parachute opened up, it said talk shit with P, and then I had the middle finger, so we kind of cropped that middle finger, and I turned it into a merchandise where it says fuck regrets, because I'm a person who, I rather do something and say at least I did it, even if it doesn't work, than live in regrets. I don't have any regrets of my life. And I've done some stupid ass shit. Like I've made some stupid ass decisions last minute. But when I look back, I'm like, what? I learned this from that. I always take what I learned from it instead of looking at it as a loss. Because through whatever shit you have done, there's a lesson in it, whether you learn something about yourself, whether you learn something about that situation, whether you learned what never to do again, who never to do something. There's always a lesson, and I don't think my life would be the same if I hadn't done that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is so real. That's the realest thing I've heard somebody say. Like, you gotta live with no regrets because everything happens for reasons. And going back to my segment after audio, it contributes to your story that you could tell people that this crazy ass shit happened to me and I made it through it. That's the motivation right there to keep going and to keep pursuing whatever it is, because sometimes you need the journeys and stuff, because a lot of people that made it, they all say the same thing. They regret not enjoying the journey, because you gotta laugh to keep from crying at some of this shit, because you believe some of this shit that happened and you're like, damn, this really happened? And you're like, I can't even make this shit up. And also, it's important for you to tell your story because you never know where it could get you, and you never know what doors may open for it. So I
and I,
definitely applaud you, Paula. Go ahead.
and I'm a sucker for love, right? I really am a sucker for love. My dad says the reason probably I'm not married is because I romanticize love a lot. I used to watch a lot of love stories and like romantic shit. I didn't, unlike other people, I don't like reading romantic novels. Like my novels are always, I read a lot of Jackie Collins and John Grisham, who's a lawyer, law books. I read novels where me and my dad would exchange. So I didn't read any romantic novels, but I watched a lot of, love stories, comedies, and all that. So I'm a sucker for love, and I believe that even if most people are always concentrated on what if we break up? So what? Yes, you break up, but why you think about that? Do what you feel right now. That way, when you break up, and that's why for the longest, most of my exes will tell you, and that's why they're still also my friend. Like I'm friends with most of my exes, but they're not as amazing as this one who still does this shit. But all my exes are still my friends. We don't talk regularly, but if I call them and I need something, they're gonna come through. It's because when we were together, I'll give it our all. and I will try to make it work. Because when I walk away, I never turn back, ever. This guy, this is why even my family doesn't understand or anything. Is the only ex who has been in my life since 2020. We were together in 2019. But until today, we've been on and off to the extent that my family is like, we have never seen you go back to an ex. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this guy has done some witchcraft on me or something. But whenever I will
Damn.
put my all in something, and when I walk away because I know I gave it my all and I don't regret it. The journey was amazing. The person was amazing. It just wasn't meant to be. And that's okay. It's not an L. I think we're so concentrated on this. Oh, you're gonna take an L, blah blah blah. I don't give a fuck. And that's why when I even date and I'm proud of the person I am with, you will see him on my social media. Like people are like, what if you break up and you've told all the world? I don't care. People break up. Life goes on. People have been married and divorced. So what? But we are so concentrated in thinking of it as an L, like a loss, but I take it as a L in a lesson because I learned some
Hmm.
shit through that journey. Either and I learned about myself, and all of them have been the reason why after 4 engagements I still have not walked down the aisle, and why I am not gonna walk down the aisle for just anybody because I know exactly what I want. I know how much I've worked on myself, the growth, and not all of them were their fault. Some of them I messed up. I have cheated, I've been cheated on, I've done some false shit, and I've gone through that. And
Yeah.
when I look at it, somebody had asked me, do the time I cheated, they asked me, do you regret cheating? And when I cheated at that time, I used to tell people I regretted it. And then it took me a while when I finally really started to dive into the whys and everything and the reason behind why I cheated and everything that I did when I was cheating. And do I regret it? No. Will I ever do it again? No, because I learned some things. And that's why even it's funny. I don't think I've ever shared this story online or anywhere. In 2020, I met a guy when I broke up with my ex in he broke up with me in January, I believe, right before his birthday. Yeah, his birthday was February. And then around July, I met somebody and we were dating. And within a month, he engaged me. And I said yes.
Damn. Within a month? That is
It,
fast. God damn. What is
some
this?
people
90 Day
work fast.
Fiance?
Some people work fast. I literally was hanging out with a couple and I've known them through Podfest for 3 years. And I found out in a week of them knowing they moved in together and a year later they got married. Sometimes some people know just because some people know and literally we broke up and now he's also married. So I think either he really want marriage or he really found a person he wanted to. I don't know. But when he engaged me, uh I was going to Arkansas after the engagement. I was going to Arkansas for a weekend. My friend had bought a house and she was doing a housewarming. And I love celebrating friends. I do it if I can. If you give me a month's notice and I make someone not show up and celebrate. So I went and we were celebrating. But it's funny because when I was at the airport, my ex called me. We hadn't spoken since like during COVID because I sent him an email. I was worried about him and his kids. COVID, and I loved him even though we were broken up. It was something the entire world was going through. But we weren't talking like that. He responded to my email saying, I'm thinking about you too, sending you back. But we weren't like back to talking terms. So when I was sitting at the airport, right about to board, he messages me. He saw a picture on Instagram and he sends me. He had zoomed. My hand was showing the ring. He was like, "Are you engaged?" And I lied. I said, "No, it's just a ring." And I was like, "We need to talk." I was like, "I'm about to board. When I get there, I'll call you." When I got to my friend's house, I texted him. I called him and was like, "Hey, I'm in the shower. Unless you want to have that kind of call, or I'll call you after the shower." I was like, "Behave, sir. Call me when you're done." But the entire weekend, I ended up talking to him I didn't even check in. I didn't talk to my so-called fiance, who at this time we were looking for places to move in together.
Mm.
And my ex started telling me, "Oh, I'm coming to Atlanta because I'm coming to Atlanta for Thanksgiving, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Cool." He's like, "Will I see you?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then in my head, I started thinking like, "Okay, I'm moving with this guy. How am I gonna see my ex? Like, what do I tell?" I came home. I looked at my so-called fiance, and I was like, "We can't move in together, and I can't get married to you," because I knew I wasn't done. I really emotionally wasn't done dealing with this breakup. And I knew this guy coming into town, I was going to sleep with him. So
Yeah.
why cheat? And the fact that I'm still entertaining it and doing that means I shouldn't be getting married to nobody.
Right.
So yes, I no longer cheat. I learned from that, but do I regret cheating? No.
But you know what? I think the biggest takeaway you get from that is don't move until you know that you're done with somebody. Because I went through that same thing. I tried to date somebody after a breakup, and my mind, I was physically there, but I was still mentally hung up on how it ended with this person because I thought this person was the one. So I totally feel that, and it's like you can't really date and proceed until you've healed. That's a message to everybody, men and women, because so many times people they be out here dating and they're not really healed at the last person. I know you want to be up under somebody or you want to sleep with somebody, but sometimes you gotta take that time to just deal with yourself. Like deal with yourself. You gotta heal because I've seen some situations like even a chick I was talking to, I could tell that she wasn't over her ex because she would talk about what her ex did and stuff, and I'm like, why you keep talking about this nigga? I'm like, damn. And then when I make a mistake, it's like you trying to hold me to the same standard as him. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the grace for me? You know. So people,
And that's so
y'all need
true.
to heal.
You
Go ahead.
do. And that's why after that I realized like since 2020, after that engagement, I haven't been in a relationship. I needed to really be like, okay, I need to heal. I can't bring somebody else because this person still, and he is my soulmate. And I really thought he was the one. We were talking marriage and kids and shit. And I don't talk marriage to just anybody, even though I've been engaged those many times. I'm a person, even my dad, that's why my family, even though coming from Africa, this person, they're looking at you like you're 35, you should be married with kids right now. He doesn't pressure me because me and my dad's favorite movie is Father of the Bride. And literally, I told him, I'm so sorry you won't get to do this. Because from my young age, I knew I didn't want to get married because of my parents' divorce. I, I did not want to get married. So there are literally only three exes who I saw myself getting married to, and those are the ones who never engaged me, motherfuckers. But anyway, so but
Yeah.
this one was so different because when I say he really is my best friend, when I have good news or bad news, he's the first person I wanna call. When I'm in trouble, I call whether we are mad at each other or we are not talking. If I'm in trouble, he bails me out. So there was that connection that I really needed to cut off. Even when we were trying to be friends, we couldn't even be actual friends because both of us hadn't even healed from that. You can't just jump into friendship. We tried to learn how to make create boundaries. So we are both teaching each other to be these friends without crossing the line. And for me, since 2020, I haven't literally been in a relationship. No nigga out there can claim me and say we're in a relationship or shit. And I just have my fuck buddies, like, because a car needs to be serviced at the end of the day. So I am not getting
You're
in a
blessed.
relationship, but
You're
I
blessed
have
to even
those.
have that.
Oh,
Because
because what? Go ahead. I
I
want to
said you're
hear.
blessed to even have that because I don't even got none of that. It's like everybody, when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. I don't even hold on to you or nothing. You might see me on social media, but I just cut everybody off because it's like, what's the point? Because you're gonna do something that's gonna trigger me. That's how I see it. You're gonna either do something to trigger me, or I'm gonna do something that triggers you. So I'm like, I'm just when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. I'm not even
That's why you
no
need
turn around.
healing. That's why you need healing. When you are healed,
I
nothing
I
can
can
trigger
heal.
you.
You're right. You're right. I agree with that part, but it's like I could be healed, but I'm not about to waste my time with you because I already know what you're about. I already know what you're about. I already know what time it is with you. And I know if I go down this road and get what I want, eventually you're gonna be asking me for some things that I might not want to give you. You feel me?
And that's why boundaries are important. Create those boundaries.
Yes. Create those boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. Please create those boundaries. Even if you got to get it tatted on you, boundaries. When my exes told me she was gonna do that shit, I'm like, ma'am, you talking about some creating boundaries, but yet you don't act on those boundaries, ma'am. No.
Here's the thing about creating boundaries, right? It really is hard, especially when you're learning, right? And that's why even me and it takes a while because you're still so used to your ways, but you're trying to also honor those boundaries. So it takes a minute to own in, and that's why I tell people these days I'm so grateful for my growth because I am a sarcastic ass, petty ass bitch. And sometimes people really be testing my patience, and then
Uh
I
oh.
I be wanna react, and then I when I don't, I'm like, damn, boy, I'm so damn proud of you. You're literally like, I could have, but also sometimes it might stay in my head like, damn, I really wish I could have responded that way I really wanted to. But then I'm like, you know what? If I would have responded the way I wanted to, it would have bring this back and forth, which would have taken away my peace. I'm big on my peace these days. So these days, I just block, and me and him, we block each other all the time. Like sometimes when even while he's typing, when I know he's already on his shit, I just block you. And when I'm ready to hear from you, I will unblock you. But I'm on that wave that I am doing this because I want peace. So when you really care about your, like when you have worked on yourself and you really crave peace, you will make sure those boundaries stick because that's the only way I stick. I'm like, because I know if I just entertain it or cross it, I will get myself mad, and I'm the one who's ruining my own peace because I decided to do that. So, but it's not easy. I'm not gonna say that it's easy. It is not. But then
It,
when I do end up crossing the line, I end up regretting it more because I'm like, you did this to yourself because you wanted to be petty, you wanted to be savage, you needed to respond. These days, I just tell people, I hope you heal, and I leave you there. Or sometimes I just leave you pending, or I just do thumbs up or the bless emoji. Those are my favorite ones.
yeah, I feel you there because it's like sometimes I there be some people I want to respond to, but I'm like I ask myself, is it even worth it? Because if I respond, it's still gonna go over this person's head. Can this person understand where I'm coming from? Can they comprehend what I'm saying if I respond to them? And usually the answer is no. So it's like, why waste
Yeah.
my time? I'm just like to hell with you. I'm not even gonna respond to you. I'm just gonna like move on. And that's why I've been so chill on this dating thing because it's like why do I want to waste my time with people? I've only been on like 2 dates this year. I'm like, why do I even want to waste my time? Because it's like I know
I
it's not
literally,
not what I really want.
I literally use my dating apps to promote my podcast. Like it's like every dating app, and I get most of my new listeners have been from dating. They're like, "Oh, your podcast? Say, yeah, tell me about your podcast." I'm like, "Go listen and find out."
Yeah, that's I be, you know I need to steal that from you because I be in some group chats and stuff. They be like, it literally for Afros and Audios. I told them, hey, I'm about to fly to Baltimore and stuff. They're like, hey, what's your podcast about? I'm like, motherfuckers, go ahead, turn on and listen to the damn podcast and stuff, asking me. And don't you hate that when that happens? Like, you'll tell you somebody, I'm going to this conference. They're like, oh, what's the conference about? And I'm like, motherfucker, how many times I
Yeah,
gotta
shut the
tell
fuck
you?
up.
Yes, well,
Exactly.
how many times I gotta tell y'all asses what this damn conference is about? Like,
I
if
just
you're
be
listening to
sending
my
links.
podcast, oh
I
yeah,
just be
that's right.
sending links.
You know, I should do that. You know, I should
And
definitely do that
anytime,
because
even in dating apps, when people ask things, because I have certain interview, certain shit on my podcast where they can tell you more about me. And on my birthday last year when I turned 34, because normally my episodes come out on Wednesday. Normally on June, I'm normally on break, but I started a little bit late. So June, the episodes were ongoing on my birthday. So I was like, we'll do an episode for my birthday because I haven't done that since when I started podcasting, which I went skydiving and I talked about it. But then I was like, because most of the time I'm on break, so I never have to put out an episode on my birthday. So I brought in a friend of mine who was thinking about starting a podcast. I was like, well, come interview me on my podcast. That way you can get the feel of how a podcast feels, right? Even though she has been a guest on my podcast, I was like, come do it as an interview. So I was a guest on my own show, and she was that the title of the episode was 34 questions for my 34. So she had 34 questions for me. I didn't know about the questions. It was she was asking me on the spot. I told her, don't send me the questions. I don't want to know about the questions. And some of them were personal, some of them were in the industry wise and everything. So anybody who asks me, tell me about you or whatever, I just send them the link of the 34 questions. Go listen.
Man, listen, Paula, you just gave me an idea because I celebrate 34 in December. You give me an idea right now because yeah, I turned 34 in December, so I
Oh my
you
god,
give
am
me
I older than you? Oh my god, I love it when I find out I'm older than the set of
you
people.
older
Cause
than me, but you are like 6 months.
not by 6 months. Because if you're turning 34 in December, I turned 35 this year in June. So I'm 35. I'm like a whole year
You
older.
mean 2025 you'll be turned 35?
I'll be turning 36 in 2025.
Oh wow, damn.
I
So you
celebrated
got
my 30 I celebrated my 35th birthday at the Empowered Podcasting Conference in Charlotte because they did it during my birthday weekend and they paid for my hotel, they were gonna pay for my flight, but me and my friends drove and they paid for my just being there and people sang for me. It was the best 35th birthday ever. So yeah, next year I'll be
shout out to
36.
them. Shit. Like I said, I need to figure out something for 34, but I don't know what I'm gonna do for 34 yet. I have no clue because December is kind of a weird month because
It
it's
really is. Everybody's
birthday and then
concentrated on Christmas.
it's
When's your
Christmas,
birthday?
the 5th of December.
Oh, at least it's a little bit early because I'd be so
I'm
mad if it was the week of the. But people always distracted because people wait. Like you already know, right? Right now, people should already be Christmas shopping, but people wait until December like that. Oh, it's December. I need to do all this shit. No, motherfucker, you should have already been doing that. So
Man, listen,
I
I don't need to hear that from them people because they got it easy now. Y'all could just go on Amazon or go on these damn stores and order this shit. You don't have to go to the damn stores anymore. All the damn stores are closed, so just
let
order this shit online.
let me give you another trick. What I started also doing is I created a on Amazon where you can create your list of things and you just add shit. So I have that talk shit with P list, like my own list, like how people do when they're getting married, their registry, right? Or they're having a baby. So you do a registry for your own and you dump everything you like. I dump there. And then whenever it's my podcast anniversary, whenever it's my birthday, I just share that link with people because you don't even need my address. You go to the link, you don't even need to worry about I don't know what to buy this person because you just pick on the things that I already have there, whichever serves your budget, and you just click send, it ships to my address. So make a list.
Damn. I need to go ahead and send that list off to some people because hey, I already got the liquor tote list. Hey y'all, Paula done gave y'all some tips, y'all. So if somebody ever says, "What do you want for Christmas? What do you want for birthday?" Send them the goddamn Amazon list. That's some good shit, Paula.
And because I hate when people ask me what do you want because you never know their budget. I can tell you something that's too expensive for you, or I can tell you because I feel weird when people ask me. So that's when I was like, let me just create a list on the thing. And also, don't you hate it when people buy you shit that you don't like and you're like, why the fuck did they even buy me this? Like, you should
For
know me
real.
better by now. Like, what am I gonna do this with? So at least when you create a list and there are different price options. They're very expensive stuff, they're very cheap stuff. They're like I put all the things, it's like my wish list. The things that when I have the budget for it, I can also buy. But in case somebody out there wants to buy it for me, even when you go, literally, when you go to my Instagram right now and click my flow chart, which has all my shit at the very bottom, you see Paula's Amazon wish list. So anybody who ever one day you just wake up and feel like, you know what, I want to bless Paula today. You just click on that link, you see all the shit that I've put in there, and whatever your budget says, this is what I want. So sometimes I put podcasting equipment that I always wanted to buy, but I just don't want to buy for myself. Like I want, but I just don't want to buy for myself, or I can't afford it. I put all the some it's clothes, some it's like all the bunch shit, and then you just share it with your community and people. That way, people bless you without having to
Yes.
get shitty presents.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. So, what is the plan for the remainder of the year for the Talk Shit with You podcast?
Talk shit with P has no plan for the rest of the year. To be honest, I haven't. Season season 9 is out. Episodes that go out every Wednesday, but last Wednesday I haven't put out an episode. I don't think I'm putting out an episode this week. I think I'm gonna wait until November. I'm really like, I've been back to back on conferences and I'm exhausted. And to me, it's like I don't want to put out an episode and then be lazy to promote it because the guest doesn't deserve that, especially when other guests has gotten the great amount of promotion. So it's taking a break. But this year has really been a very not motivational year for TalkShiWP in podcasting wise. But it also worked out perfectly because February and March I did like almost 60 lives. Sometimes I was doing lives 3 times a day or 4 times a day. So it is those are like back end episodes. So I really haven't recorded as much fresh episodes as I normally do. But I have been taking the audios and inputting them on conversations that I know need more highlighting because the video is already on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, wherever. But only because I want to make some changes to Talk Shit with Me, but I also don't want to do them right now because the year is coming to an end. So I'm working on these changes for 2025. But I'm still like, I think that's why I decided this year to go to a lot of conferences to get like inspiration on how Talk Shit with P will move forward in 2025. We're working on our media kit because we're gonna be hitting some bigger sponsors. Talk Shit with P is celebrating 5 years next year, and but we are working on Christmas boxes this year. I'm excited about that. I don't know where the money is coming from to fund those, but we're working on it. And I am I am more excited about 2025. I don't know where it's gonna go, but I feel like 2025 will bring different shit for Talk Show EP. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but
That's, I mean, that's good enough. But hey, I just hope Look and Talk gets a Christmas box. But last question:
I
why
mean,
do people?
wait, you weren't on the list because so po- if you have met me or you have known me, I rock my merchandise everywhere, right? And there was a time where I was selling these and then I shut the shop down. So right now my marketing has been where the very select people who have talked with P merchandise and the very select people who have been even given access to buy the talk with P merchandise. But I've been doing marketing and now everybody is asking like, I want this because they're seeing certain people have different match and I'm very good at branding and I love merchandise. I love creating merchandise and I've been working with different ideas and playing around and that's why anybody who has a talk show with P match is like a one of a kind talk show with P match because it's not out there, nobody has it, there are only select people who have it. So the Christmas boxes were for specific people who have been supporting but never got the a merchandise ever. And I'm working with actually one of the guys who I met a podcast movement who helps independent podcasters with merchandising, connecting them and helping them build this. And all that to say that you were not on the list, but you might get because now that we know you're a December baby and shit, like I feel like I might just as well. If I'm gonna give you a gift, might as well give you talk shit with me Christmas box.
But lastly, why do people need to subscribe to Talk Shit with P? Because hey, you know what? I can tell you for myself, but it's better coming from you. Why do people need to tap in with Talk Shit with P for 2024 and 2025?
Wait, I want to hear what you would say. Why should people from your mouth, why should people subscribe to that?
The reason they need to subscribe is because you are full of energy, and listen, you're going to get something. You're going to get a lesson, an amazing lesson, and that's why people need to subscribe. And plus, why not? There's never a dull moment in podcasting with you or with you in person, so why not? Because you're always full of energy, so why not? There you go. Now, in your
Why the
words.
fuck not? And that's it. Like, why the fuck no wouldn't you subscribe? But also, to be honest, I really don't give a fuck if you subscribe or not. I'm not. I'm one of. I'm one
Yes.
of. I'm one of those podcasters who I really don't give a fuck about the numbers, and I don't care because if you subscribe or not, because people have this tendency of believing that because you can subscribe and not listen to it, and it's just
That's
crappy. But
true.
if you are if you are in your creative journey, because I feel like and I think the reason why I ventured into that, we always look at people and be like, and we compare ourselves or dismotivate ourselves because we are only looking at somebody's story of where they are now, but you're missing out on where they started from to get there. And that's why creative journeys happen, because I want to motivate more people, because I'm a paycheck to paycheck bitch. So sometimes we think that you need to have trust fund or savings or all this money to start something. And these stories help inspire and motivate you, because just because they're there now, they didn't just wake up and get there.
Facts.
It took energy, it took work, it took sweat, it took discipline, it took all that shit to get there. And these stories, I'm hoping that it does inspire and motivate you to keep going, especially when, because the creative world, there are going to be so many times where you want to give up because it's not an easy journey. So when you are in that space where you feel like you want to give up, these stories are there to inspire you to keep going in order to be where those people you admire are. And everybody's journey is different. And on the mental health aspect of it, I feel like whether you speak on it or not, we are all dealing with our mental health demons, whether you know it or not, be it anxiety, be it depression, whatever the fuck it is. And when you are in the creative space, your mental health is even more worse because as we were talking about support, the people you expect to support you are not the ones who are going to support you. It's a
That's a
lonely journey.
fact.
And that's why we keep going to these conferences and finding our people, because the support is there. Our families get tired of hearing about your little podcast or your little shit, and they
Hell
tell you to
yeah.
get a real job, or you're wasting your time, or this will never be anything. Your friends are not going to buy your fucking merchandise. They're gonna want you to give it to them for free, but they will spend $1,000 on a Telfar bag or whatever the fuck it is. They'll post Beyonce and shit, but they won't post your shit. Because I
Hello.
don't care. I don't care if you don't listen to my podcast. All I care, support comes in different ways. You can share it, and that's okay. Because not every podcast is for everybody. I don't fucking listen to. I don't listen to anybody's podcast. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't even listen to my own podcast. But once a month, I
Okay,
try to.
you know what? I have to agree with you on that. I really don't listen to it unless I know I'm about to have you on. So I feel you all the way
even
on
if,
there.
if
So
even when I'm having you on, I don't fucking listen to your podcast. Like I do my research in different way. I don't fucking listen to your podcast. I might go to look at the titles of your episodes or descriptions to get an idea of what you talk about. But because to me, and that's why even when it came to asking for reviews, I was like, why am I asking people for reviews but I'm not giving reviews? So what I do is once a month, I haven't done it in a minute because I really haven't, I've been busy with conferences and I haven't had time to listen to podcasts, and I love trash TV. So if I have to listen to a podcast, that's 1 hour I'm taking away from my trash TV. I'm sorry. But that's my cure for depression as well. But I started doing something where once a month I put up a post and ask people to drop their favorite episode. I will listen and leave a review. That way I am supporting, and I'm doing what I'm preaching or asking. But and I get it, not everybody's gonna, not every podcast you're supposed to listen, or podcast is not your thing. But you can support by sharing it. Because just because it's not for you, you don't know that the people in your following, in your circle, it could be for them. And that's how it comes. So with the mental health um stories part is to help other creatives who are dealing with things, because I feel like in mental health we're always just talking about therapy and medicines, but there's different way. I watch trash TV and it helps me because it gives me idea for content creation. It gives me idea because I be looking like, and I be like, wait, people do that? Yo, we need to have this conversation. And then it comes back to inspiring me to do things. Somebody at podcast movement was telling me getting it in the in a cold shower and taking an orange to put on your face, because the smell of the orange in with a cold shower helps your body relax and give this. And I didn't know that, and he's coming on my podcast to talk about that. So all this, you find where other tools, because not everybody can afford therapy, or not everybody wants to go into medication. I don't want to go to medication. I never want to take medication, but I know if it gets to a place where I need to, I'm gonna do that. But if there are other resources that people are doing that are helping them, we get to have this conversation and share, that way somebody else can have. So all that to say that if one of those two are what you need, then subscribe. Otherwise, it's all good.
I feel you on that. That's gonna be the thing for 2024 and 2025. But Paula, I want to thank you for blessing the liquor talk with your presence. And Paula, whenever you're ready to have me on, remember I might be in Florida, but I'm just one DM away. So when you want to bring me on your podcast to talk some shit, because Lord knows I can talk some shit. So when
2025,
you're
we're
ready,
definitely doing. And I feel like when I go to Podfest this year, I wanna do, because it might be my last conference I'm attending next year. Because I'm planning on leaving America. That has been the talk lately, and people have a lot of questions on that. So, if you want the answers about that, come to Podfest to my talk, and you will hear more on that. But what I plan to do when I go to Podfest is do a lot in person tapings for 2025, and so we are definitely. Even if you don't come to Podfest, but you're in Florida, and we can meet up and do. I'm trying to get as many in person episodes for 2025.
listen, we can definitely do that because my buddy has a studio in Orlando, so we can definitely make that happen. So we will definitely make that happen. Paula,
And
so thank
also,
you.
reach
Go
out
ahead.
to me. We'll get you that Podfest ticket if
All
you want
right,
to
bet.
come.
Yes, bet. We definitely will. But thank you, Paula, for blessing the liquor talk with your presence. Where can the people find you?
Talk shit with P everywhere and anywhere.
Yes. Talk shit with people anywhere and everywhere. Thank you all for tuning in to Liquor Talk. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you're not, if you do not, hey, just take a shot for me and we're gonna keep it moving. Until the next episode, we're out this thing. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Paula. Thank you for that episode.